Good morning and welcome. This is another episode of the podcast. I believe it's number 5 now. I could be wrong, I don't know. And this morning I went for a walk with my dog, and it's sort of like a 2-kilometre loop, between 1.5 and 2 kilometres of a loop. And she's been good. Every morning so far I've hopped out of bed at around 4:30 and just up and out the door, and it's been good, and I know that's probably going to stop happening at some point. And it's been interesting. I think it's merely because we've had the window and blinds open all night, and I guess as soon as I see the tiniest bit of daylight, I'm just giddy out of bed outside. Usually I like to leave the blinds closed because I don't want to let any light in until it's really bright, but that must just keep me in bed a lot longer, I guess. And right now it's very humid. We're coming off of a 41 degree day yesterday, and the clouds are just covering the sky, and it's creating some sort of weird humidity. It rained for a second, and I don't know which thing to rescue first, the camera or the microphone, but yeah, it didn't do much damage yet, but it still could rain. And the smell in the air it resembles sort of like a car tire. It smells gross, it's disgusting, and just everything is really sticky at the moment. That I would need a shower just to wash off all the stickiness, and it happens every so often. Just weird, unexplainable weather patterns, just not good. And the walk was alright. The dog's been fine the last 3 days. I hadn't taken her for walks in a while, but I started getting up, and naturally, by the way, naturally getting up. Just like naturally losing weight, naturally getting into good, healthy cycles. Everything works better when it just accidentally slips into place. No forceful activities. The only way that I would suggest that you could force yourself to do something, which I think I've done in the past, is quite literally to leave the environment that you're in that's causing anything negative and causing anything to make you an emotional eater, which I've already discussed, but yeah. Or you could simply disappear, and go on an adventure, start a new life, or just disappear from everything for a week or two. It's all more than enough time to just fix your brain, and as long as you are good with your brain somewhere else, and as long as you're like me and always influenced by other people, then being alone will help you get your goals done. Now, this week has been not a great week. I was home by myself with the children, and so that it didn't promote unhealthy habits, but I was more inclined to just eat a little bit more. So last week I weighed myself and I was 69.7 or something like that, and my weight's gone up and down because I've been eating a little bit more. So yesterday morning I think I was 60, or the day before 69.3, and then I've had a lot of liquids, and the weight's going to be a little bit higher because of that. So this morning I was 69.9, which I was actually surprised. I'm actually still quite happy with that. Every time I lose 5 kilos, I get to a point where I'm just fluctuating in weight, and then I have a little break, and then I go and lose another 5 kilos. Obviously I can't do that forever, because then I would be 5 kilos of nothing, and that's not good. I'm more fueled off of how tired I am as to whether or not I can feel the need to exercise, that I feel great enough to exercise. Today's one of those days where that feeling isn't completely there, and I've got to get back into doing pull-ups and chin-ups, and I've spent 3 days just doing push-ups or staying on that chest type program, I guess. I'm getting worried that I'm going to forget how to do a pull-up. I don't know whether or not I'll get to a point where I'll try to do both in a day, and then every day I'll just have the routine of push-ups and pull-ups and push-ups and pull-ups in different parts of the day. I don't know if the theory of resting each muscle group is true or what have you, but most people are doing programs at the gym where they're lifting a lot of heavy weight. So to go from, lifting heavy weight on your chest and then trying to lift shoulders, it's going to be a bit of confusion, and not a good confusion on your muscles. And not great. I'm also at the point, which I think I've mentioned, that I am trying to do minimal cardio, but restrict the calories. The calorie restriction seems to work great. I do recommend a deficit if you are losing weight. I only recommend that now, but before I was exercising a lot and eating a bit more, so I do recommend a deficit if you want to minimize your cardio or exercise. But I don't mean you should be inactive. I think you should, walk 20 minutes a day at a minimum. Or, move your body around, up around your nose, anything. I am going to start, I already did start, just showing full body programs. It's what I wanted to do in the past, just make these programs at the gym. That was a long time ago. And then basically put them online for free. I guess now I'm trying to do that, but I want to do it in an environment, that isn't so dull on the camera. Maybe at like a park next time, where there's a bit more in the scene and more in the shot, in the composition, that just makes the scene a bit more lively, and maybe have not interactions but people in the background going past, and showing that you shouldn't be too embarrassed to exercise in front of people, but really just to make a higher quality scene. It'll probably get more people interested, I guess. But that's just another project and something I'd like to slip into healthily and happily, and not be too forceful on myself with that. And now I'm getting a bit of spitting, and I hope it can hold off for another 10 minutes while I talk a bit of gibberish, and then I can, comfortably get out of here. Otherwise I'm just going to have to rush. And it's funny too, I've filmed in the past, and it was mildly spitting, but enough that it was wetting everything, and you couldn't see it on the camera, you couldn't hear it on the camera. I found that great. It's just an illusion. because the microphone's just blocking out all the noise and the camera's just focused primarily on the foreground, and it's just great. I hope it's brightening out here. I'm not too sure. With fitness, I don't know what else there is to talk about. Everything's just repetitive because I'm doing like a program which is just recycling every day. So I'll be doing like push-ups and chest, or or I'll add new exercises with chest, but they'll hopefully be body weight because I'm trying to stick to a body weight routine. That would be nice. Not only to just show what it would look like body weight only, and just not to hide anything, just to show what is the easiest option for people. Then they don't have to pay for gym memberships. They don't have to shy away from going out in public and exercising, and they can use the free resources everywhere available. Because in the perfect world, if you're living in the suburbs, you got everywhere you can walk to and catch the bus and make everything mostly free. Certainly if you're struggling with finances and what's the other thing? Food. Just I don't know if this is a podcast to talk about it, but if you are in the suburbs, I'm not. I'm in rural, so I have to drive everywhere I go. I have a bus service that doesn't work properly, but I chose that. And if you are in the suburbs, I'll get back to it now. It's easier for you. Just don't drive. Your fuel economy is going to be great because you're not driving anywhere. You're actually exercising more. Hopefully the bus fare is a lot less than driving if you need to go out of town. And even so, if you're a good long distance walker and you can actually get into the habit of long distance walking, then in the city you could walk from one place to another place that people would consider very far away. Like there are places that drive in Melbourne from one suburb to the next. It seems like so far away compared to just walking 7 kilometers here. Like it must be just all those reference points that you just like, oh wow, I'm further away than I think. But getting into those habits are great. Like if you have a local shop and it has organic foods, great. Go for a walk. If you have a further away shop and you need to do bigger shopping, use that as an opportunity to go for a walk or get the bus, but that's just for financial reasons. And really, if you're making healthy choices, it doesn't cost much to be healthy. People go on about how it's expensive to be healthy. Well, yes, I can agree. I can attest to that. I can actually tell you that it is. But I am well aware with people's addictions, it's costing $3, $5, $6, $9, $2, $1. In one single day, your junk food habits are more costly than your healthy eating habits. And if you don't eat organic, you can certainly find deals on discounted food. Like the other day I found discounted mushrooms, 99 cents for a bag. If I'm going to weigh those individually and try and get a deal on that, it's going to be way more than 99 cents. And I use that in one single meal. So it's simple stuff like that. You can make $5 meals. And, you know, you spend $5 on a coffee. You spend $5 on trashy foods, because I know how much chocolate is now. I'm watching you. I know how much chocolate is now. It's ridiculous. And you know what's funny? If you're actively buying this stuff every single day, you're not bothered by the price increases, or you're confused after a while. If you're like me, hasn't bought it in 3 years, or okay, that's a lie. What the fuck am I saying? In a year and a bit, 3 years. It feels like 3 years. In a year and a bit, and you go back to the store, you've watched it go from $3 for a block of chocolates to $6, or whatever it might be. You are very shocked. But if you're someone that isn't paying attention, you're not going to notice it's going up by 50 cents, 20 cents, $1, $1.20. You're not paying attention because you're going either shopping once a week, like I am, or you're just really not concentrating or even noticing the changes. And people aren't noticing that in the last 5 years, 5 years is a long time. No, it's not. It went just like that. You had this thing that happened in 2020, and then for 2 to 3 years, our lives were pretty crappy, and then another 2 years just went by, that's it. And the next minute, all the properties are up 3 times the price. Ridiculous, especially when you live in a town that properties have gone up for sale multiple times in the past 3 to 5 years. Well, let's say 4 years max. I've watched it go from $17,000 for a block of land to $50,000, $60,000. And there is a section in the contract, I guess you could call it, that is number section 32, I think it is. It tells you the site value of the property on everyone's property. And the site value for the block of land will be like $8,000, $5,000, $10,000 where I live. And then resale sale value for some reason is 50, 60 grand just for the block of land. It'll say it on your, I don't know where it is, all the lawyer documentation, I guess it is, that you'll have a site value. In Melbourne, maybe your house is worth $1 million, maybe your site value is $150,000. Who's making up this number that your property's worth $1 million when the site value is 150 grand? Just doesn't make sense. But anyway, what's that got to do with the price of fish? I know, but health and fitness, let's keep it positive, right? The other thing I recommend, gardening, 100%. I could actually do a video later on where I'll set myself up a garden bed and I'll show you the process. It's quite easy. A lot of people don't do the particular gardening I'm doing at the moment, where you use the foods that you eat and the scraps that you have left over actually go in a compost pile. I never used to do that. I always used to bugger around, get soils from the shop, but now, at the moment, I've actually worked it out, and I'm actually getting the rhythm, and I'm actually happy at the moment, because I've actually used compost of my own for the first time. Well, not the first time, probably. Consciously, I guess. And now I'm hopeful that I no longer need to go buy these expensive soils. I've also made my own potting mix for the first time. Pretty excited about that. So getting a garden bed with everything in it, all your needs, fantastic. You've eliminated the need to purchase a bunch of greens and potatoes and things like that. It is easy. Just give yourself time, because time is important. And for me, what I would suggest is get yourself into the healthy habit. Then you'll have your compost bin fill up very quickly, and that's a good thing. I know in some cases you might, I don't know, eat the whole food, but doing some chopping, give some to the compost, eat your apple, but just save the core. Banana skins have been fantastic for me because if you eat a lot of bananas, you got a lot of skins. Good for the compost pile, as I have very much noticed, because it's 90% of my compost pile, because I've got a bunch of monkeys at home, and that's been great. You can't win them all, but well, especially in the city, in suburbs, you can't win them all. So I'd suggest having the type of compost which is food scrap composting. And if you want to be extreme, use your nuggets, because your nuggets have value. But then you'd have to sort of be a vegetarian like me at the moment. Well, don't know what I am, but anyway, I'm something. I was 9 months to 12 months vegetarian. Bit of Dairy Queen at the moment, and Dairy Queen mixed with I don't know, eggetarian. I don't know what I am. I'm getting into the proteins, I guess. Just to force my muscle memory, and spent the last month or two losing this 5 kilograms and assisting it, with exercises. So it's all coming together, and I'm hopeful. And also I've been on and off working my muscles for 13, 14 years. And with that, because it's bloody spitting, I'm out. Thank you for listening. Bye.